Hey friends, it's Miss Priscilla. Today we're going to read some fairy tales, and the one I'm going to read is Snow White. Here we go. One snowy winter's day, a queen sat sewing by her window. She accidentally pricked her finger with a needle, ouch, and 3 drops of blood fell on the snow. The queen looked at the bright red blood on the white snow against the black wood of the window frame and thought, I wish I had a child with lips as red as blood, skin as white as snow, and hair as black as ebony wood. Sometime after that, the queen gave birth to a little girl with deep red lips, snowy white skin, and glossy hair as black as ebony. She called her Snow White. Sadly, the queen died, and the king married again. His new wife was beautiful, but cruel and selfish. She had a magic mirror, and every day she looked into it and said, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all? And every day the mirror replied, You, O queen, are the fairest of all. But as Snow White grew up, she grew more beautiful, and so one morning the queen's mirror said to her, You, O queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White is much fairer than you. In a jealous rage, the queen called her huntsman. I never want to see Snow White's face again, she told him. Take her into the forest and kill her. The huntsman took Snow White into the edge of the forest, but he could not bear to hurt her. Run away, child, he said. Don't ever come back or the queen will kill you. Poor scared Snow White. She was all alone, lost in the forest, running for her life. Toward nightfall, Snow White came to the little house in the deep forest. She knocked softly, but there was no answer, so she let herself in. Inside, Snow White found a table and 7 tiny chairs. Upstairs, there were 7 little beds. I'm so tired, she yawned as she lay down and fell fast asleep. A while later, she woke with a start. 7 little men were standing around her bed. Who are you, she asked. Where are the 7 dwarfs? We are the 7 dwarfs who live here, said one of the little men. We work in the mines all day. Who are you? I am Snow White, she replied, and she told them her sad story. The dwarfs felt so sorry for Snow White, and they wanted to help. If you will cook and clean for us, said the eldest dwarf, you can stay here and we will keep you safe. Snow White gratefully agreed and began that very evening by cooking the dwarfs a pot of tasty hot soup for their supper. When they left for work, the next morning the dwarfs made Snow White promise not to go out or open the door or speak to anyone. Meanwhile, the queen was back at her magic mirror, but she was shocked by what it told her. You are the fairest here, it's true, but there is someone fairer than you. Deep in the forest, in a cozy den, Snow White lives with 7 little men. What? Shrieked the queen. Snow White is alive? In a wild frenzy, she raced to her secret chamber in the darkest depths of the castle. There, the queen, who was really a wicked witch, brewed a deadly potion and poisoned a rosy red apple. Disgusting herself as an old peddler woman, she set out for the 7 dwarfs' cottage. Snow White was busy in the kitchen when she heard a tapping on the window. She looked up to see an old woman peering in. Apples for sale, the old woman croaked. Try my lovely red apples. She handed the poisoned apple to Snow White. Snow White couldn't resist. She took a big bite and fell down motionless. The queen cracked with delight and hurried home to her magic mirror. It at last gave her the answer she wanted. You, O queen, the fairest of all. The dwarfs wept bitterly when they came home to find their Snow White lying totally still on the floor. They carefully laid her in a glass case and watched over her day and night. One day a prince came riding through the forest. When he saw a beautiful girl in the glass case, he instantly fell in love with her. Please let me take her back to my castle, he begged the dwarfs, and they agreed. As the dwarfs helped to lift the case, one of them stumbled, and a piece of the apple that was stuck in Snow White's throat came loose. Snow White coughed and her eyes flew open. Where am I? She gasped. You are with someone who loves you more than life itself, said the prince. Please marry me. Snow White looked into the prince's kind, gentle eyes and knew she loved him too. Yes, she said, I will. So they were married with the dwarfs beside them. They all lived happily together in the prince's castle for the rest of their long lives. The end. Bye, guys.